Your body is a temple, and beyond the perils of the wasteland, you yourself are going to require some upkeep. Going too long without eating or drinking can cause some issues, and you also have to watch out for exposure and diseases. Greetings, Vault Dwellers, and welcome to the Wasteland. This is your Overseer speaking, Three-Eyed Townie, and today we're going to be talking about fatigue, hunger, and thirst for Fallout the role-playing game by Modiphius. This video is a continuation in a Learn to Play series that I'm putting together for the game. This is part 1 of Survival, and in previous videos I've covered a lot of the basics on the system itself, so if you haven't checked those out yet, you might want to take a look. Staying alive is more than just winning the fight. A character needs to eat, drink, and regularly sleep to stay healthy. Other considerations such as extreme heat or cold, as well as diseases, can also be a factor. Without proper care, a character could become fatigued. These survival mechanics get pretty crunchy and lend themselves to a more hardcore style of play. That being said, if this doesn't fit the playstyle of you and your players, there's no need to follow them to the letter. But let's break it down and you can decide. Fatigue is a method of tracking the negative effects of not getting enough food, water, sleep, or catching a disease or being overexposed to harsh climates. While fatigued, you reduce the number of action points you would normally gain by 1 for every point of fatigue that you have. Additionally, if you begin a scene with fatigue, you lose 1 hit point for every 2 points of fatigue that you have. You remove 1 point of fatigue at the end of any non-combat scene if you're free from all sources of fatigue. If you sleep for 6 or more hours, you remove all points of fatigue, as long as you don't have any sources of fatigue currently. So now let's talk about what some of those sources of fatigue are. First, you have hunger, and hunger is measured in 5 steps. Being full means that you cannot eat anymore. You've had your fill and you're totally fine. After an hour of being full, you become sated. Being sated means that you've eaten recently, but you could eat again. After 4 hours of being sated, you become peckish. If you're peckish, it means you're ready for your next meal. And after 8 hours of being peckish, you become hungry. By the time you're hungry, your stomach is growling and you're starting to feel a bit weak. After 16 hours of being hungry, you gain 1 fatigue point and become starving. Once you're starving, you're weak and you're tired. For every hour you remain starving, you gain 1 more fatigue point. Now, if I did the math right, all of this means that you could go a full 29 hours from being completely full before you're actually starving. However, if you're in extreme cold conditions, the amount of time between each step is reduced in half. Recovering from hunger is done in steps. Eating uncooked food and preserved pre-war food moves you up 1 step, and eating cooked food moves you up 2 steps. If you're starving, hunger is considered a source of fatigue. Similar to hunger, thirst is also measured in steps. If you're quenched, you've drank as much as you can possibly drink. After 1 hour of being quenched, you become hydrated. Being hydrated means that you've drank recently, but you could drink more if you wanted. After 2 hours of being hydrated, you become thirsty. Being thirsty means you haven't had anything to drink in a while, and after 4 hours of being thirsty, you gain 1 fatigue point and become dehydrated. Being dehydrated means that you might start to feel dizzy and suffer from headaches. For every 8 hours you spend dehydrated, you gain 1 additional fatigue. Again, if I did the math right, you become dehydrated after not drinking anything for 7 hours. Strenuous activity or extremely hot conditions can also speed up this process. So combat or a similar intense activity can move you down a step at the end of the scene. Extremely hot weather halves the amount of time for each step. Drinking purified water will move you up 2 steps, but any other type of beverage is only going to move you up 1 step. If you are dehydrated, thirst is considered a source of fatigue. There's one type of consumable that satisfies both hunger and thirst, and that's soup. Consuming any item with the word soup or stew in the name counts towards both hunger and thirst and moves them both up 1 step, respectively. Sleep, exposure, and disease also factor into fatigue, and we're going to cover those in the next video. So for now, just stock up on your favorite food and beverages to keep you going. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you found this breakdown helpful. As you probably already know, this video is a continuation of a Learn to Play series, and we have so much more to cover. If you don't want to miss when the next video is coming out, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications. You can find me and the rest of the Fallout 2D20 unofficial fan community everywhere on the internet. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, and we have a very active Discord community as well, and I'll leave links for all that in the description. And if you haven't already ordered Fallout the role-playing game by Modiphius, you can do so directly from their online shop, and I'll leave a link for that in the description too. Thanks again for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, I'll see you in the wasteland.